Imagine walking through the streets of ancient Rome not as a soldier or a senator, but as a child. No phones, no screens, not even paper. Yet laughter fills the air. In dusty courtyards and marble villas, children play with toys made of clay, wood, and imagination. Some of those toys still exist buried beneath centuries of stone. These are the forgotten toys of the Roman Empire, silent witnesses of childhood 2,000 years ago. In the mighty Roman Empire, life was full of conquest, trade, and glory, but even in that powerful world, children remained children. They laughed, played, and dreamed just as we do today. The difference was their world. No plastic, no batteries, only creativity and craftsmanship. Roman toys told stories of family, gods, and imagination. From dolls and marbles to tiny chariots and animal figurines, every toy reflected the values of the society that built an empire. In this journey, we'll rediscover how Roman children played, what they dreamed of, and what their forgotten toys reveal about the most powerful civilization in history. The most common toy of Roman girls was the clay doll. Some even had joints that moved. Archaeologists have found dolls with tiny carved arms and legs, and hair made of threads or ivory. Imagine a Roman girl in a tunic sitting on marble steps, brushing her doll's hair with a small wooden comb. These dolls weren't just toys, they taught children about motherhood and care. Each one was handmade, unique, and full of love. Roman boys adored miniature versions of what they saw in the streets: horses, carts, and chariots. Craftsmen carved tiny wheels and reins so the toys could roll across the floor. Imagine a group of boys racing their small wooden chariots through a dusty alley, cheering as one tips over dramatically. These toys mirrored Roman pride in speed and power, miniature versions of the empire's greatness. Before video games, there were knucklebones, small animal bones used for tossing and counting games. Children threw them in the air, catching them in patterns like early jacks. Some versions used bronze or glass pieces for wealthier families. Imagine a Roman boy and girl sitting on mosaic tiles, laughing as the bones clatter on the ground. For Romans, play and luck went hand in hand, teaching skill, patience, and a touch of fortune. Roman children loved collecting small animal figurines made of clay or bronze. Dogs, horses, pigs, and birds were common, sometimes modeled after real pets. Imagine a child carefully arranging tiny clay animals on a low stone step, pretending to feed them. These toys reflected Roman life: farm animals for farmers' children, exotic beasts for those who dreamed of arenas and circuses. They turned the animal world into play. In Roman streets, laughter often followed the sound of rolling hoops. Children used sticks to guide metal or wooden rings along the road, competing to keep them upright. Others played ball games using stuffed leather balls or inflated animal bladders. Imagine a group of children running through a Roman forum, rolling hoops and tossing small balls while merchants smile nearby. Their games echo joy between marble walls. Roman children loved spinning tops, made of wood, clay, or bone. Some were painted with colorful dyes, others engraved with tiny symbols of luck. Imagine a group of children crouched on a stone floor, each flicking their tops with strings or whips, shouting as the last one spinning wins. The game taught balance, patience, and focus, and filled the narrow alleys of Rome with laughter and echoes of whirling wood. Miniature soldiers made of bronze or lead were popular among boys. They arranged them in battle lines, pretending to command legions like real generals. Imagine two boys kneeling in the dust, moving tiny figures with shields and swords, while a third pretends to give orders like a centurion. These small toys mirrored the empire's military pride, where even play became preparation for leadership. Among wealthy Roman families, girls had dolls made of ivory, wax, or even glass. Some had detailed faces, jewelry, and changeable clothes. Imagine a girl sitting by a window, sunlight glowing on her ivory doll as she ties a tiny bracelet around its wrist. These delicate toys were treasured keepsakes. Many were buried with their owners when they died, symbolizing eternal childhood. Even Roman infants had toys, small wooden or bronze rattles filled with pebbles to make sound. Mothers shook them to calm crying babies, believing the noise also scared away evil spirits. Imagine a mother rocking her baby beside a clay lamp, shaking a tiny rattle as the baby giggles. For the Romans, sound itself was protection and play combined. Roman children and adults alike played board games like Ludus Latrunculorum, an early form of strategy similar to chess. Imagine two children sitting on marble steps, moving carved stones on a grid scratched into the surface, their father watching proudly. These games taught logic and planning, proving that Roman play wasn't only fun, it was also education disguised as entertainment. Roman toymakers were geniuses in simplicity. They attached wooden wheels to animal figures, dogs, horses, and elephants so children could pull them along with strings. Imagine a toddler tugging a small wooden elephant across a villa courtyard, laughing as the wheels squeak. These pull toys were more than play. They helped children learn movement, sound, and imagination in a world without machines. Children living near rivers played with toy boats carved from wood or bark. Some even used wax to waterproof them and added tiny sails. Imagine two boys crouched near the Tiber's edge, setting their miniature ships afloat, shouting as wind catches the sails. To them, each boat was an adventure, carrying dreams of travel and conquest like the fleets they saw from afar. Roman children played with marbles made from glass, clay, or polished stones. The richer families even imported colorful glass marbles from Alexandria. Imagine children kneeling on mosaic tiles, flicking marbles toward a small circle drawn in dust, cheering when one hits perfectly. The clatter of marbles was a common sound in Roman homes, a timeless game that still survives today. Roman boys often received miniature tools, tiny hammers, chisels, and saws made of bronze or wood. They copied their fathers, pretending to build or repair. Imagine a young boy in a courtyard, striking a small wooden block with his toy hammer, while his father works nearby with real tools. These toys weren't just games, they taught craftsmanship, pride, and responsibility from an early age. Girls, meanwhile, loved toy jewelry, bracelets, rings, and necklaces made from colored glass beads. Imagine a young Roman girl sitting cross-legged, threading tiny beads into a necklace for her doll or herself. The colors sparkled in the sun, and for a brief moment, she felt like the noblewomen she saw in the market. These simple trinkets carried dreams of beauty and grace. Some Roman girls had toy kitchens, tiny clay pots, plates, and ovens where they pretended to cook like their mothers. Imagine a girl kneeling in a courtyard, stirring lentils in a thumb-sized pot while her friend arranges miniature bread loaves beside her. The scene feels simple yet full of life. These toys taught Roman children daily routines, how to feed, share, and care long before they grew into adults. Roman children also played with small flutes, rattles, and drums. Music surrounded Roman life from parades to prayers, and even children learned its rhythm early. Imagine two kids sitting near a fountain, one blowing a clay flute while the other taps a small drum, laughing as pigeons flutter away. These miniature instruments turned playtime into music, blending sound with innocence. In wealthier households, children made puppets from cloth and sticks. At night, they used oil lamps to cast shadows on walls, performing stories of gods and heroes. Imagine a dimly lit room glowing with lamplight, children giggling as they moved tiny puppets behind a curtain. These puppet plays weren't just entertainment, they were storytelling lessons that taught imagination and voice. Gladiator games inspired even children's toys. Craftsmen made miniature lions, bulls, and gladiators carved from bronze or clay. Imagine a boy staging his own tiny arena in the dust, moving figures in mock battles while his sister cheers. For Romans, even play reflected the empire's fascination with spectacle and courage. One of the strangest Roman toys ever found is a small cart designed to be pulled by a live mouse. Children gently tied string harnesses and watched the tiny animals pull their toy chariots. Imagine laughter filling a courtyard as children chase a little cart rolling across the floor, the mouse scurrying ahead proudly. It was funny, playful, and a little chaotic, proof that Roman imagination knew no limits. Boys of Rome often pretended to be soldiers long before they held real swords. They had toy wooden swords, shields made of leather scraps, and helmets crafted by their fathers. Imagine a group of boys charging through a garden, wooden swords clashing, shouting for Rome as parents watch and smile. These small games built courage and discipline, the same virtues that would one day define Roman men. For Roman girls, dolls were more than playmates, they were emotional companions. When a girl reached marriageable age, she often dedicated her childhood doll to Venus, goddess of love, leaving it at a temple as a symbol of farewell to childhood. Imagine a young woman placing her beloved doll on an altar surrounded by candles, her eyes glistening. This quiet act turned a simple toy into a ritual of transformation. Roman children loved physical challenges, walking on narrow walls, balancing sticks, or hopping across courtyard tiles. Imagine a line of barefoot kids balancing on a garden ledge, arms stretched wide as others cheer them on. These playful competitions developed strength, focus, and teamwork long before structured sports existed. Archaeologists have found remains of toy shops in Roman marketplaces, shelves filled with small figurines, dolls, and wooden carts. Imagine children tugging their parents' robes, pointing eagerly at rows of colorful toys while shopkeepers smile. The sight would feel familiar even today, a marketplace of joy, echoing with laughter that outlasted empires. Not every Roman child had ivory dolls or painted tops. Poor children made their own toys, stones for marbles, sticks for swords, bits of clay shaped into animals. Imagine a barefoot boy proudly showing his handmade clay horse to a richer friend, both smiling and playing together. In those moments, wealth didn't matter, only imagination did. Play was the great equalizer of Rome. Many toys weren't bought, they were handmade by parents or grandparents. Fathers carved small wooden carts, while mothers sewed dolls or painted marbles. Imagine a father shaping a wheel while his son watches eagerly, and a mother stitching a doll's dress by lamplight. Each toy carried fingerprints of love and care. For Roman children, a toy wasn't just an object, it was a piece of family. Many Roman children who died young were buried with their favorite toys. Archaeologists have found dolls, marbles, and rattles placed gently beside tiny skeletons. Imagine a mother kneeling by a small grave, placing her child's clay doll in the tomb, tears reflecting torchlight. These toys symbolized eternal play, a belief that even in death, children continued their laughter somewhere beyond. Through toys, Roman children learned everything: war, work, family, music, and imagination. A doll taught care, a top taught balance, and a wooden sword taught courage. Imagine a wide shot of children scattered across a courtyard, each playing their own little game, yet every one of them unknowingly preparing for the adult world. Their toys were tiny mirrors of their civilization. Centuries passed, the children grew, the empire fell, and the toys were buried in dust. But when archaeologists uncovered them, dolls with broken limbs, marbles still shining, they rediscovered the laughter of ancient childhood. Imagine a quiet museum room where a small clay doll sits behind glass, sunlight touching its face. For a moment, time disappears, and it feels like the child who owned it is still nearby. No matter the century or the empire, play never dies. The same curiosity that made Roman children roll hoops or sail toy boats lives in us today. Imagine a modern child playing with a toy car, and the scene fading seamlessly into a Roman child pushing a wooden cart across a courtyard. The toys have changed, but the joy remains the same. Play is humanity's oldest language. In the mighty Roman Empire, life was full of conquest, trade, and glory, but even in that powerful world, children remained children. They laughed, played, and dreamed just as we do today. The difference was their world. No plastic, no batteries, only creativity and craftsmanship. Roman toys told stories of family, gods, and imagination. From dolls and marbles to tiny chariots and animal figurines, every toy reflected the values of the society that built an empire. In this journey, we'll rediscover how Roman children played, what they dreamed of, and what their forgotten toys reveal about the most powerful civilization in history.